My name is Nazar, and I'm the founder of a company called LaMetric. Actually, it's a startup now, but we are trying to be a successful product company built in Lviv. I have a service background as well, so several years ago I was completely in service business, but for the 3 years now I'm full-time in product, right? Several words what we do now. So we created a product, it's called LaMetric Time. Potentially you have Apple Watch Pebbles on your wrist, and we do Pebble for home and office. So we did it from the scratch in Lviv. It has unique industrial design. It's completely designed in Lviv by our in-house team. So we didn't outsource anything. And so several years ago, we felt a need of a device that brings information for families, teams, and customers. So if you remember that time, it was only ego devices in this period, like smartphones, smartwatches, and they were focused only on one personality. And we felt a need that information, some common information, should be delivered to a group of people together, to feel something together. And our devices now in the world track smart home notifications at homes. They are in the offices and track incomes and motivate team to reach new goals, to reach new sales goals, for example. And also our devices are in the local businesses, and they show a trust level of business to the customers, engage them, and so increase the customer base of the business. Potentially, you know Amazon Echo now. Amazon Echo, it's our, let's say, competitor. It's the same device in the same category, but the interaction, it's not as in our case. It's you install apps on the clock. It's made by voice, right? But the principle in the product is the same. It delivers common information to the group of people at home, right? You ask what is the weather, you ask what is the time, and Alexa told you, and told not only for you, but for the whole family. I want to share today our story and principles that help us to reach some results. So, one moment. So, on this slide you can see our story. So we started 3 years ago. As I said, we were a service company called Lemberg, and we decided to incubate product to make a spin-off, right? A product spin-off. And it was 3 years ago. We started to, we had this idea. We started to prototype, and after a year of prototypes, we launched a Kickstarter campaign. We were quite successful. We raised around $400,000. Then we built a product with a famous Foxconn that built devices for Apple. And after a year of development, we delivered thousands of devices across the globe. And around 70% of devices are active right now across the globe. And they are located in different offices, homes, and it's a quite good indicator because most of products are not used after they are bought, right? And for us, it's a good thing that most of devices are still used, and it's majority of the devices. And this year we got a Red Dot Award for the reinvention of table clock. And now we are trying to make a company successful, increase sales, and move forward, right? So we would like to sell more, go to the offline sales, etc. So we got some success. We are not yet a successful company, but we are trying to be. And I would like to share some insights with you, what principles helped us to get such result as we did. So as I said, all team members had service experience before we started 3 years ago. What we did, first of all, we decided to make a separate physical space for the product team. Why it's important? It's very important because service business is overloaded with engineers. And when you build a product, you need a little bit different corporate culture and ecosystem to make it successful. First of all, product people should be obsessed about the customer, right? In service companies, people are obsessed about technology. In product company, you need to know one industry knowledge very deeply. And in service company, you are more focused on tech tools, right? And it's right. Also, in business models of the companies are different. So the service company is focused more on hours. The product company is focused more on results, on value. And we created such atmosphere. We took people and put them in another physical space to have discussion about one industry with the marketers, etc. So we shared with our people all details. Marketing stuff, packaging stuff, messaging, marketing messaging, sales strategy, etc. And it's very important because people should deeply understand what they do, even engineers. The next step, when you have a team, you need to hire the right people in your team, right? And first of all, this team, these people should fit your corporate culture. It's first of all. And from my experience, for early stage of the product, it's very important to hire generalists, technical generalists. What it means? It means that people are not obsessed about one technology. So I know this technology, I would like to do it this way. So it's very important for efficiently doing the product to gather a team that do not afraid to build product on the technology that they do not understand. Yes, it won't be 90% maybe high-level quality, but it will be enough quality for the first version of the product. And it will be more efficiently, because you, with a small team, you can build the first version of your product. So my recommendation is to gather generalists in the product team. And it's not only about engineers. It's also about the people in marketing, because you need to understand sales. You also need to deep dive into technical details, because if you don't understand it, well, it won't be so great outcomes later on. So you can select such people. Such people are in the service companies, by the way. And every company can find such people in a service company. They are more ambitious, they are generalists, they are customer fans. When you have some debates on the project, such people are on the customer side. When you have a conflict on the project, such people are on the customer side. And such people are very good for product development. Such people have good abstract thinking. They are not thinking about low-level technical details. They think about things more abstractly. They always do more than expected. Not enough, but more than expected. And again, they solve problems with the tool that is more efficient for your product, not beloved tool. Potentially, in your experience, you found the guys that say, I will do it only on jQuery, or I will do it only on Java, or I will do it only on PHP, or something like this, because people are fans of technology. So, for product development, you need generalists that are not fans of technology. They should have a special attitude to the product. What it means? It means that people should care about this industry, about the problem of this industry. People are different, right? And projects in service are different from different industries. So if you gather a team which should make a healthcare project, you need to gather people that think about healthcare problems. They love this industry, and they would like to gain experience in exactly in this industry. So we gathered such team. So on the photo you can see some of them. And these people were generalists. They were no specialists, no professionals, no high-level professionals, right? But they had special attitude to the product, to the industry. It's not about player A or player B. These people are not player A's. Some are, but some player B. But for product, it doesn't matter. You need to have people that have special attitude for this product, and they will become a champion team. The next, okay, you gathered people, right? What's that you need? You need to balance your team with different visions. If you gather people only from engineers, you will have only engineering vision of the product. If you gather people with the art vision, Matt Good said that, I'm not calling it design. No design. It's not design. It's art, right? So I'm put here industrial design. I'm put here Photoshop, UI, etc. Art, all right? And you need to have people with a product vision. You should have it balanced. But the most important is a product vision, and all these people, engineers, okay, UI designers, should learn product vision, because product vision is focused on the benefits for the clients. In my experience, I found that engineers, it's very hard for engineers to understand the difference between the benefit and the feature. It's really, really hard. To understand this person should think very deeply about the industry where the product is, and to understand what benefits. For example, for a clock, right? You see this. Engineer will say that it is an icon, right? It's an icon, right? But for people, for human being, it's a clock face. It's a clock face, right? You can make a product unique, creating your clock face. Like on Apple Watch, like on Pebble, you create your personal watch face. And it can be a driver of your sales, the most important driver of your sales. But for engineers, it will be just icon. For your clients, it's a clock face. It makes a clock different or unique. So it's very important to balance the team with such people, and also very important that product vision have limited resource filling. What I mean? When you build a product, you have limited resources, and engineers, They like engineering. They don't care about resources in most of times. In most of cases, they like engineering, and they will motivate product leaders. Let's do this feature, let's do that feature. But this feature cannot be so important for the product right now, and it's not important to spend resources on it. The same about UI designers. Let's do this form more nice, more awesome, etc. But it could be not important at this stage. So that's why it's very important to learn product vision by all product members. And this visions adds different things to a product. So UI people, they gives a heart to a product. Engineers, they build a skeleton of your product. If you pass all, if your team will be overbalanced with engineers, you will get product for all people in the world. But the problem is that you should target your product on some target audience. And product vision, it gives a face to your product. It gives a face and target your product on some audience, right? It gives human being characteristics. For example, your product is for men from 35 to 54 years old, and such people have different needs than people from 25 to 35, for example, right? But from engineering perspective, it's the same. That's why all should learn product vision and give a priority, right, to product vision. Okay, you have your team balanced. After that, you need to share everything about the product with your team, everything, as I told. And everything starts from the mission of the company, from a vision, from the product strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy. You constantly need to learn who is your customer with all your team. At the beginning of the product development, you have this information, but when you deliver it, you have this information, a lot more, and you will more deeply understand who your customer is. You will make a marketing messaging iterations to target this audience and to sell more, right? So you can combine your team with a mission and sales, because product, right? You need to sell this product. You need to combine. You can combine your team around these two things. For example, for our company, we have a mission to decorate home and business environment with intelligent objects and get people to natural information perception. So, and we start from clock category at home and building a company on the edge of consumer electronics and home decor industries. And when you have some debates in your product team, you can ask your team, you can justify every solution by answering on two questions. Does it fit with our mission, first of all? And second, does it increase sales? Is it have an impact on sales? Is it important to do this feature? And when you start thinking from that perspective, all your team members, you will easily understand what is important, what's not important now. And for example, if you have analytics that 50% of your audience come from mobile devices, and you have not mobile version of your site, so it's priority, right? Because you lose 50% of your customers in sales funnel, right? So, and you can start thinking from sales, go deeply to every single feature, and you will understand it's important or not. The next thing which is important when you're building a product, it's challenge your team. And it's very good for leaders to build a process to challenge the team constantly. So team should be constantly challenged during the cycle of development. And so it's very easy to do. In our cases, it was several times such situation. First of all, we needed to launch a Kickstarter campaign, right? It's a challenge. It's a challenge. We had a limited deadline, we had a limited budget. There are no exit strategy for product team, no exit strategy. You cannot say, okay, bye-bye, I cannot do it. So you need to say it to people before you put the challenge. And best of all, it's take money, right? In our situation, it was Kickstarter campaign. We took money, we had a deadline, and we need to deliver. In a service business, it can be a contract. You can accept contract, even if you think it's not possible for your team to do, it's higher than team can have knowledge, right? Better to do that step. Better to try more to challenge your team. And sign a contract with a budget, have a deadline, and just do it. And from our experience, people grow 10 times faster if they have these circumstances. And again, in our situation, we have preparation to Kickstarter campaign. When we won Kickstarter campaign, we need to deliver. We took money, and we need to deliver. And now we need to grow our sales. It's very important during development of the product, accept conflicts and debates as part of the culture. Because you balanced your team with different visions, you will definitely have conflicts. Because engineering vision will say, I'm right, product vision, I'm right, art vision, I'm right, and you always will have debates in your team, and you just need to accept it and make it a part of the culture in your company. And so don't be afraid to ask questions, be curious, ask a different question about the same thing. It's especially very funny, but we had such situation with engineering because so sounds like a confident answer, but if you ask from different perspectives, you see that it's not the 100% correct, right? And so don't afraid to ask the same questions several times from different perspectives, and then compare answers. If it doesn't sound logical, escalate this problem and find a solution. It will save you a lot of time, a lot of money during product development. For only customer needs should be a judge in your conflicts, in your debates. But at the end of the day, someone needs to take a decision. And so decisions should be taken by a person who takes responsibility, and it's a product leaders. But it's very important to have in the culture of listening to the people. So all these visions, all these concepts should give value and should help to select the best decision. Interesting principle about the user experience. So it's very important to have in your team a choleric personality. You know there are different temperaments of people, right? And so I advise you to select in your project a choleric. Because choleric people are not very patient about something, when something doesn't work. And for you as a product team, it's very important that some people gives you feedback about the product as fast as possible. And choleric personality will give you this feedback very fast. So you just need to give the product to such people, to such person, and it will say you it's too long, it looks ugly, and because it's impatient, this person is impatient, right? So we call it choleric UX approach, right? And so from our experience it works, and it will save also a lot of time on iterations. Another good principle in product development is frugality, and so in all your decisions you need to keep this principle, because again, engineers love engineering, and they will build new feature and new feature and new feature, but is this needed for the product? The same about UI designers. They will design, they like to design interfaces, etc. But is it really needed for the product? You need to ask these questions. Potentially, we do not need to develop ourselves. We need to buy software as a service solutions. In our situations, we did it several times. For example, when we needed e-commerce, right, to sell product via online channel. And so do we need to develop our own store, or we just buy a Shopify account? So you will get different answers. Engineering say we need to develop, product owners or marketers say it's better to save money. So it's very nice to train your people frugality in all decisions, especially on the early stage of the product when you have very limited resources to get the goal. We have the same situation with the support system. We have the same situation with controlling money systems as existing on the market and just bought an account. Another good principle in product development is simplify, invent and simplify. So it means that so when you build some innovation, it will be very complex. It's a natural process. When people start thinking about something new, the first outcomes, they are very ugly and very complex. And but when you iterate, when you think about it more and more time and iterate, continuously iterate, you get a simple solution. And the problem is that in the world, a lot of companies don't make last iterations. But the good thing is that the last iteration of your innovation process make all your product. We had this situation several times during development LaMetric time. For example, with top buttons, you see it was a lot of them. Now we have 3 buttons, just right application, left application, and action button at the top. We had the same situation with a rear part of the product. So we had a lot of sockets, a rear cab that was lost by users because it was badly connected to the casing. And now we have more nicer and more better solution from user experience. The same with all our prototypes. It's only 3 here, right? But it was around 20. And the first prototype looks like Frankenstein, but it does its job. We could stop our development on this stage and give people this Frankenstein, right? But we go further. And then it was okay, it had a casing, but it was ugly, etc., etc. And now we have what we have. By the way, the funny story about the last such situation is about the coating of the product. Almost 2 days before mass production, we selected the coating that is more resistant to the fingerprints. Before this, we had a coating that is that leaves fingerprints more on the surface. And why we found these solutions? We had a conflict with our supplier. We asked it, it's part of our culture. We wanted to make it, and we asked our supplier, and they found, 2 days before mass production, they found the coating that makes the job. Another important principle is leaders of the product team should be in this same physical space with all members, and they should share a challenge on the same level as all members. So in our team we have 3 co-founders, and all of them works with the same pace as all team members. One of my co-founder is Igor. He was in China for 1 year. It's incredible. I was there for 1 month, and it was hard, to be honest. And he was already 1 year. Now he is making second batch of the product, and he is already 2 months or 3 months in China, and control product vision. And so Dmitro, he shared the nights in Lviv office with me and built awesome software with the team that drives this product. So I'm very proud of them. The next principle that works, it's again, everyone should be curious and deep dive into a problem. And don't afraid, ask foolish questions. It could, because you are not expert, right? For example, marketer personality, it can be not expert in engineering, but if such person has question, he could ask, and it could sound like a foolish question, but it makes a job. It gives a problem as a perspective of view from not technical perspective. So it was a question to the Chris, what important for people to develop, to understand product development more. So my advice is to forget about engineering for some people. Forget about engineering for some years. Don't be fans of engineering. Start be fans of marketing, for example. And when you forget it, you will have other perspective on your product. And in the product team, you will add value with other thoughts and other with other vision. And when you will have this conflict of different visions, you will get the truth, the right answer. And so I understand now, stay foolish, stay hungry. Stay foolish mean that you don't be afraid of foolish questions. You just need to be curious and ask. And after that, you should be hungry for the answers from people. So you should don't end meeting to the moment when you have not answered. You just need to find an answer. So stay hungry for the answers. For sure, your product team, they are not experts in all things, and it's definitely true. And it's very important for us was to involve a service knowledge and service expertise. In our story, we have software expertise from the Lemberg, from our mother company, and also we were lucky to get expertise from Foxconn in hardware part of the product. So they helped us understand mechanical design. So we are very thankful to them, for example, to design our industrial design in a way that it's very easy for assembling. They have enormous amount of knowledge in this, and now the assembling process of our product is very easy, and it's because of their knowledge. So it's important to involve experts, definitely for the niche answers, for the niche problems where you don't have any experience. So we involved Lemberg and Foxconn. But in the same time, you need to delegate something only when you understand. What it means? It means that you need to, on some high level, to understand things So even in the mechanical design, you need to understand the basics. And when you understand this, you can put limitations for the suppliers, vendors, organizations, and they should meet them. And when you understand the process, you will put as much limitations as possible, and your vendor will try to meet them. So my advice is to understand what you delegate. From this point of view, we sent one of the co-founder to the Foxconn for 1 year, just to control vision. Just to control vision. Just to have the outcomes that we have in Lviv office. It's very experienced people, but in the same time, you need to have closely a person who fully understand a vision of your product and pass it vision to your supplier. So, thank you very much. Any question?